Torrential rains have caused catastrophic flooding in southern France on Sunday, September 21st. In just 90 minutes, the Pont du Los neighborhood in Toulon received 92 millimeters of rainfall, generating sudden flooding and damage to homes and vehicles. The impact also reached the viewport of Marseille, where waters covered coastal areas and seriously affected mobility. The storm originated in Valcas and moved toward Marseille, leaving behind a scene of water-covered streets and communities on maximum alert. Meteorological authorities had warned of the risk and issued an orange alert for storms and flooding. This situation was confirmed just hours later when several cities began reporting significant impacts. In the Valais region, rainfall exceeded the capacity of drainage systems and rivers, causing overflows. Météo France reported in its 4 p.m. bulletin that 99 millimeters of rain had fallen in Arags, while Avanon recorded 108 millimeters in just 3 hours. The same report indicated that the Vaucluse prefecture confirmed 115 millimeters in various parts of the department. The storms not only brought extreme water accumulations, but also dragged mud and rocks onto the streets. From Marseille to the Var department, strong water currents and landslides interrupted roadways. In Cassis, in Bouches-du-Rhône, the downpour left 62 millimeters in just 40 minutes, triggering sudden floods. The phenomenon was described as a high-intensity Mediterranean episode. A squall line formed over the Gard River intensified the storm when it came into contact with humid air from the sea, increasing the violence of the rainfall. According to the Meteorological Service, this system was responsible for the largest accumulations observed in the region. Water covered entire streets and towns, such as Maurius, Saint-Remy-de-Provence, and Arags. In Marseille, rains began in the afternoon, but the situation quickly worsened as skies darkened and the intensity of the storms persisted. In On, images showed avenues turned into rivers and cars trapped by strong currents. But the worst was yet to come. The Mediterranean Maritime Prefecture warned that storms were also impacting the sea, with risks of strong winds and dangerous waves. In addition, a tornado was detected in Saint-Lens, adding another risk factor on land. The material effects were soon visible. In Rodnac, Marseille, Les Sautats, and the province of Sal, heavy damage was confirmed. Roads were blocked by fallen trees, and several towns reported power outages. In Valais, at least 300 homes lost electricity, especially in Avanon, Carpenters, and Syrians. Along the RD 950 route, the municipalities of L'Oréal, Duintat, Faken, and Villa-sur-Aizin reported trees fallen onto the roadway. Rescue teams were deployed to clear the access points amid a day that saw more than 70 emergency operations. Among the main interventions were water pumping in residential areas and debris removal carried by the floods. The Pont du Los neighborhood in Toulon became one of the most affected areas. Images showed streets covered with water reaching doors and windows. Prolonged flooding complicated mobility and placed urban infrastructure at risk. In Marseille, the viewport area was completely flooded. Water advanced over the port district, affecting both businesses and homes. At the same time, heavy rainfall caused the overflow of small streams around the city, amplifying the storm's impact. However, the situation was even worse in Cassis. There, torrents of water rushed down steep streets, carrying soil and mud in just minutes. The 62-millimeter downpour in 40 minutes turned this town into one of the main focal points of the emergency. The situation in Avanon was also critical. With 108 millimeters of rainfall in 3 hours, the drainage system collapsed, leaving large sectors underwater. This level of precipitation, confirmed by Meteo France in its afternoon bulletin, represented one of the highest readings in the entire region. In Arags, where the figure reached 99 millimeters, the scenario was similar. Streets remained flooded for much of the day, and homes, businesses, and vehicles sustained damage. Images of cars trapped in floodwaters reflected the severity of the emergency. But reports continued arriving. In Orange and the Vaison Low Roma region, cumulative rainfall ranged between 50 and 75 millimeters. North of Carpenters and Bedarites, rains caused persistent flooding that complicated access to these localities. The city of Toulon was also severely affected. Photos and videos showed streets completely inundated, with water reaching dangerous levels for residential infrastructure. Figures continue to rise. In total, official reports confirmed values exceeding 100 millimeters in several localities, a fact that highlights the force of the Mediterranean phenomenon that struck the region. At the same time, fire and rescue services intensified operations. Up to this point, around 70 interventions had been recorded, including rescues in isolated areas, clearance of blocked routes, and pumping tasks in urban zones. The combination of intense rainfall, strong winds, and fallen trees left a complicated scenario for Bouches du Rhône and neighboring departments. Traffic was severely disrupted, and authorities recommended avoiding unnecessary travel. Meteorological reports warned that the storm would continue during the first half of the night. Municipalities such as Châtrenard and Avanon were identified as high-risk zones due to the persistence of rainfall.